The new Arc Raiders update just dropped where we're working together as a community to unlock Stella Montis. It also came with a massive set of patch notes, which we're going to be breaking down today. I broke these patch notes down live right here on YouTube as well as Twitch. I'll have a link to the Twitch down in the description if you're interested. Speaking of which, we're going to be running a 24-hour live stream as soon as or leading up into the launch of the Stella Montis map, which could be happening sooner rather than later. I'm going to be putting another video out very shortly here, breaking down and showcasing exactly how this community event works and how quickly I think that this thing might end up getting completed. Be sure to keep an eye out on the channel for that. But let's go ahead and cut this plug and jump right on into these patch notes here. All right, let's go ahead and start off here with these patch highlights. First off, they've reduced the character movement latency on the server to improve the DESYNC problem where it looks like you're getting damaged even after you're behind cover. They've also fixed an issue that prevented players from completing quests involving multiple objectives or item collection within one single round, and they've fixed various achievements not working correctly. They do say that players are going to need to redo some of the achievements with only one objective item, for example, destroy the queen, while achievements with multiple objectives will only need parts of them completed again. They've also reduced the delay between shooting the arc and seeing the impact effects on the target, and they've fixed various locations where players could fall through the terrain. That right there is not the rest of these patch notes. They actually get really thick. Let's go ahead and start off here with some balance changes. They say that they're taking the wolf pack and they're upping its value from 3,000 all the way up to 5,000 coins. So if you're selling wolf packs, I suppose. When it comes to crafting the wolf pack, before it took 2 refined explosives and 2 sensors. Now it's going to take 3 refined explosives and 2 arc motion cores. On top of that, though, the arc motion core and the arc circuitry before required the level 3 refiner to unlock, now require the level 2 refiner to unlock. And when it came to crafting, before they required 6 arc alloy, and now they require 8 arc alloy. They've also made some changes here to the launcher ammo. They've doubled the cost of this ammo from the trader from 100 all the way up to 200. And then when it came to crafting the ammo, before it used to take 5 metal parts and 1 crude explosive, now it's going to take 4 metal parts and 1 refined explosive. The spotter relay has had its value dropped from 5,000 all the way down to 2,000. And then when it comes to experience, they've reduced the experience per damage from 3 down to 2 for the Bastion, Bombardier, Rocketeer, and the Leaper. They've reduced the experience for looting the arc parts as well. For the Bastion, they've dropped that from 500 down to 250, and for the Bombardier, they've dropped that from 500 down to 300. Me in particular, I've always had an easier time taking down the Bombardiers, so seeing the Bastion taking more of a hit here is a bit surprising. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. It's not all bad here, though, because they've increased the experience for looting arc parts on the Rocketeer Thruster from 200 up to 500, and on the Leaper Leg from 200 up to 500. We're realistically just getting started here, so I'm going to start to burn through this. When it comes to achievements, they've fixed various achievements not working correctly. We broke that down. When it comes to animations, they say they fixed an issue where weapons were automatically slung when throwing grenades. They've also fixed an issue where weapons were sometimes hidden when you were using deployables, and they've improved camera behavior to prevent clipping through walls and objects while jumping. For the arc, fireball enemies will no longer get stuck on these security gates and will pursue the player accordingly. They've also fixed a bug where the surveyor's fleeing behavior could move it out of the playable area. Oh, that happened to us. That's good. They've also fixed a bug which caused some enemies to take more fire damage than intended. When it comes to audio, they've added in a system default option for voice chat input and output devices to follow your operating system's default. The breathing audio has been adjusted for better balance between players with and without helmets. Breathing sounds are also less audible over a distance. And then they've added different audio effects to Scrappy while wearing various helmet cosmetics. Speaking of cosmetics, they say here that they've fixed an issue where party members would initially appear with the base appearance. Let's go ahead and move on into some map changes here. They say on the dam battlegrounds, they fixed locations in the dam where players could fall through the terrain. They also fixed some collision issues in the dam where players could get stuck. In the Buried City, they fixed locations in the Buried City where players could fall through the terrain. They also fixed various flickering and clipping issues inside of the Buried City. And then finally, they fixed some locations where the players could get stuck in the subway stations inside of the Buried City. I don't know why they kept saying that. I don't know why I kept saying that. Moving on to Spaceport, they've sealed one of the rooms in Spaceport Departure Building, making it require breaching to access. The loot inside was adjusted to fit the effort required to enter. And then they also fixed an issue where certain doors could not be breached from inside the launch tower. Finally, we have Blue Gate here, where they fixed an issue where players could get trapped in the Blue Gate control room. And then with hatches overall, they fixed an issue where successfully entering a raider hatch did not grant immunity to damage and knockbacks, and they've increased the interaction distance for raider hatches. We've got some miscellaneous changes here as well. They've reduced character movement latency. This is to, of course, fix the desync or help the desync. They've reduced the delay between shooting at an arc and seeing the impact effects on the target. I don't know if you guys have been experiencing this, but when I'm inside of groups for some reason, I thought it was desync previously with how long it took some of the impact effects to happen on the arc. It's good to see that getting adjusted. But they've also adjusted the blueprint drop rates from the raider containers. Interacting with probes, husks, raider caches, and etc. now counts towards looting container objectives. And they fixed a bug where players would sometimes become unable to perform any action if they were downed while holding a carryable object and then revived. They've also fixed an issue where you could not loot or knock out down but not out players on steep slopes, and then field crafting selection now stays on the same item after crafting. When it comes to movement, they say vaulting is now smoother. I don't know exactly what they mean by that, but hopefully this is kind of adjusting how it feels when you're trying to climb up some of the terrain. It can be really wonky, so anything that helps climbing terrain that definitely feels like it should be climbable or walkable or something that you can jump on top of or over, and it just, your guy ends up bouncing in air like that over and over. Hopefully they start to address that, and that this might have to do with it. For the sake of time, we're going to skip over the UI section here. I'll have a link to this whole patch notes down in the description if you're interested. But let's go ahead and move on into the utility changes, where they say they fixed an issue where the Blaze grenade trap could deal more damage than intended. They've also reduced tick attachment time for the anti-tick field augment passive from 1 second down to 0.5 seconds. They fixed an issue where a prompt would get stuck while fighting off ticks at the same time the anti-tick field passive was being activated. And then smoke clouds from items are now always visible at the same range as players. They've also fixed an issue where the trigger grenade explosions could bypass the brief invulnerability when you are entering down but not out, causing instant elimination. Invulnerability now correctly applies on downing. And then finally, they fixed a bug allowing players to use the snap hook to go out of bounds in the spaceport bunker. Some weapons changes here. One weapon change here is that they fixed an issue where firing while standing close to walls could cause bullets to veer sideways instead of following the crosshair. And then finally, we have some quest changes here, which I'm not going to break down. And that's it when it comes to the patch notes for this new Stella Montis Breaking New Grounds patch inside of Arc Raiders. If you made it this far in the video, comment made it down below so I can give you an extra shout out. Again, keep your eye out on the channel. We are going to be dropping a video showcasing the community event, how it works, all of that good stuff. And we have that 24-hour live stream coming up very soon. But other than that, I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm out.